Hey everyone, good morning to you. It's a very exciting day as Archer and Olive will be releasing their brand new 2025 spring collection. I've been seeing little bits and pieces of it over the past week or so as they've been slowly rolling it out. And I'm liking some of it. Some of it I'm not 100% on just yet. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. So I thought what we could do today is kind of just go through it together and I'll share my thoughts on everything that's there. I've been a longtime fan of Archer and Olive, was on the ambassador team and the design team in the past. And I have a lot of thoughts. Sometimes my thoughts get attention, like when I talk about wanting page numbers and other things like more professional notebooks, and then I get these cool opportunities to partner with them. Not that all my ideas are always great or my thoughts are always exactly on point, but really excited to talk about this and see what's going on. So a few things as we're getting up and running today. Been really focusing in on like getting like the best connection for these lives. The past two have been a little bit glitchy, so bear with me as I continue to try to strive for better lives. I feel like I'm doing okay today, but fingers crossed. Also, we're going to be sharing the screen, and last time we did this, it went a little funky. So I'll definitely look forward to the chat to helping me out as we go through. Definitely reach out in the chat if you're joining me live today. Let's chat about what's going on. I said chat a whole lot, but we'll utilize that space. And then if you're watching on the rewatch crew, make sure you shout yourself out. Let us know you're watching there, and also give your thoughts on what you think about the spring collection from Archer and Olive. So without further ado, let's attempt to make this happen today. I'm really excited about it. So hopefully we're in a good spot. So sharing the screen, and let's do this because it's always something. But all right, so the notebooks. Let's go ahead and start here first. I did see a handful of these on the sneak peeks that they've been posting, and I'm iffy on them to be honest with you. The first one here is this ivory vegan leather gold foil swallows. So you've got this like nice little swallow looking deal here with this like little half moon behind here. I'll be honest, not feeling like spring to me. I know swallows and birds and all of that like feel very much in line with the spring, but I wasn't 100% when I saw this, thinking a lot about what that looks like and does that really fit inside of that spring theme, so to say. I'll definitely say the designs are nice. It feels very like dreamy. It has this really cool feel to it. I don't know the right word necessarily for it as we're talking through it. The next one here is going to be, I call this like swampy, but like in a nice way. It has like the pussy willows and kind of this little like water. It's called Gentle Breeze is the name of the notebook here. So it's a yellow ochre cotton cover, the gold foil on top of here. The cotton covers are nice. I definitely like them a lot. Problems that I've had personally with cotton covers in the past have been anything that could potentially stain it will. They grab on the things really easily. I've always really appreciated more of the wax type covers that they have, or even the vegan leathers, which don't tend to usually have that on there. But I do like the design. I think like it's very kind of gender neutral when I see something like this. But such a departure, I feel like, from where we've been in the past with Archer and Olive and like what these have looked like for their spring collection. They're a lot more on the nose. These feel a little bit more vintage. These colors kind of fit more inside of there, but definitely let me know in the chat what you're thinking about that. All right, I'm going to try to keep a hold of that chat as we're going through as much as I possibly can. Now, what I will say is that I really like the inside cover of this. I like this notebook overall. Like I said, I'm not opposed to the design. I actually kind of like that it's kind of like I said, it's not like so in your face. It has a really nice kind of forever feel to it. If that's not the right word I'm looking for, but it's like some of the notebooks, you get and you're like, oh, I'm gonna use this notebook for Halloween. Like, let's use that as an example. And you get into like the springtime or whatever, and you're like, does this kind of fit that same vibe? Like, I feel like you could use this all year long and feel really good about it. So the description here says a swamp pond. So I was exactly on point. I even know the name of before, and I was calling it swamp. But a really nice like lake landscape is what it's on here. It's debossed with a gold foil inside of there and a teal vegan leather cover. Oh, that's this one. Oh my gosh, I'm like reading the wrong one. That's still Gentle Breeze that I'm looking at here. This is what we're moving into here. This was different than what I thought it was. Sorry. This is called Swamp Pond, which I personally feel like the other one feels better than that. when I first saw this design, I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% feeling it. Me personally, right? If I'm just looking at how they've designed their notebooks in the past, the designs that we've looked at, something about this one, obviously they're going in a very different direction with it. I feel like almost a step backwards in my personal opinion. What I mean is we've got so many of these cool like debossed, embossed, cool designs, like how they're printing on the vegan leather. And this feels just very different to me. Again, this is me personally, so don't be like, oh, Mark says he doesn't like it, burn him at the stake. But I don't know, something about it just I wasn't kind of vibing with, and that's okay. I'm not going to love every single notebook, and neither are you. But this does have some cool design elements on it. Having like partial gold print. I actually really like the way that like these leaves look here with the gold veins on the leaves. Like that could be something cool to kind of see. But honestly, it feels like a lot to me. You've got the trees with all of the like I don't consider weeping willows, but like whatever these guys are officially called, you have, all of these like pussy willows and these branches and all of this, and you've got a swan in the swamp, plus the lily pads. A lot is kind of like what I'm looking at when when I see that personally. So I feel like they could have maybe like scaled it down a little bit or done a little bit less. You do have some really nice fine details on here, which I thought were really nice. Having this debossed look over here, like on the spine, you get this little element over here. The inside of it, the pattern looks really nice. Like I'm not saying anything bad about that, but just certain pieces of it, like I said, I feel like that cover has some nice elements to it, but it's just like a lot going on. But really liking the pattern inside of here too. This next one I think is honestly one of my favorites. This is called Mushroom Monarch. This is debossed vegan green leather cover, so everything about it I'm really liking. I think it's a really cool, whimsical looking design here. I like that it has more of a minimalist kind of approach. Even the illustration is different from what we've seen from Archer and Olive before. And I like this like departure. We talked about a lot of things feeling different, looking different, but like I like this departure. I like that the vegan leather has a really cool look and feel to it. And this is just kind of subdued. It's like a fun little character that's on there. So I think that looks really nice. The inside of it, like my daughter is going to love this notebook. I'm going to probably get one for her just because she loves like that whole mushroom vibe and, that aesthetic. She has the cups and she has, glow in the dark mushrooms in her room and like all this fun stuff. So I think that she would really like it. We talk about sizes for all of these. They come in every single size, I think, which is pretty nice. So you've got swallows, you've got swamp pond, gentle breeze, and mushroom monarch. A5, it comes in a pocket size, which is new, I feel like, to the releases. We haven't seen a lot of the pocket sizes. I don't know. This might even be the first time we've seen the pocket sizes with these releases. So taking a look, pocket B5, B6, square, my favorite, traveler. So all very cool. And then there is one more notebook, and then I'm going to switch back to the chat. And we're going to take a look at the comments real quick inside of there. Is their heirloom notebook for 2025 for spring. So this feels very much Archer and Olive to me. I have the heirloom journals from a few ago that had the fountain pens on it. I have like 3 or 4 of them. I don't know what I'm doing with them just yet, but I have them over there. That's for sure. And but this has really cool. This reminds me a lot of the I forget the name of it that they did, but it was like the yoga eucalyptus stress like mindfulness journal kit that they did. Was that last year? I think they did that. This is what this reminds me of, and I really do like it. Lovely Lilies is what it's called. At least that's what it says on here. So this is an interesting layout. This essentially, I believe, if I did the measures right, it's like an 8.5 by 11, but on its side. So this opens horizontally with some really big, nice, huge pages. You have this really intricate lily design on the inside cover. Take a look at that. Like I'll take a notebook with that on that. Like that's really nice. So you've got a full floral border design, white stamping on a sage green buckram cover. Love the buckram. That was the word I was looking for before. Not wax, cotton, buckram is what they use. I like that a lot. And it works out really well. So letter size, and then you get a choice. Oh, nice. Dock grid, lined, or black pages, which I know people love. I know a lot of people like this big notebook, and they like it with lined pages instead of dock grid or even blank pages for sketchbooks. So it's really nice. And then these I thought these were stickers. They're called memory books. They're introducing a new paper product called Beneath the Willows Memory Books. So these are kind of cool. They're accordion style notebooks. So we just saw what the accordion notebook with the last subscription box. So these are similar, except they are in the shape of the front of their journal, which do all these sizes work? I'm not sure. Butterfly is a blank dark brown craft paper. Mushroom has an off-white craft paper, and the dragonfly is a light brown craft paper. So I think the outside designs of these are really pretty, actually. But I'm a little curious about this dragonfly being like a good size. I mean, it's definitely interesting, but I think the size is to right. I think the mushroom do great. The butterfly looks really great. This is just very thin. So I don't know how much you would necessarily fill with that, but very cool, interesting designs on those. So before we go to the accessories, I want to come back over to the chat because I'm sure I've missed all kinds of conversation that's been happening over here. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. Dagger says they're kind of leaning into this one as my next daily journal, maybe, possibly. I'm assuming you were talking, it was early on in that, so I have a feeling that may have been for, which one was the very first one we talked about? Boop, 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 the swallows one, maybe, or maybe the gentle breeze. That's the one I was looking at anyway. A little upset this one is cotton. Yeah, the cotton one, iffy about that personally. Like I said, I have plenty of them, but they can be a little iffy. Those have a cleaner look, but compared with previous collection, feels like they didn't try enough. KE said that. I know that they experiment. I know a lot of people on the team. I know the designers and their product managers and stuff like that. I think they are just trying different things and experimenting and seeing how it goes. When they were doing those full cover designs and doing all of the embossing and debossing, like people were going wild for that. So you would think like, well, would they keep it the same? But they also are going to try to mix it up, I think, sometimes too, to get a really good feeling for like potentially what that one looks like. Dagger said they're divided on the swan, but not really. The froggo looks awesome. I agree with that. So much happening on the swan. I'll probably use it for a reading journal. There is a lot. Like I said, I agree with you. I think we both agree that there was a lot happening there. So it's interesting. The froggy mushroom. I like the name of that one. That's very nice. Is the pocket size the same as A6? Sorry if you guys can hear the dogs. They're going wild upstairs. I don't know if the pocket is the same size or not, but it might be. I'm not really good with all the different sizes, like the kind of like the dimensions of A6 versus a pocket. Someone in the chat may know. Plan, create, cope, made alive. Awesome. I like that you are here too. I always get funny, when I talk about these lives and what we're chatting about, what's going on. At least note the accordion books are a cool idea, but I think the butterfly works and the mushroom, but maybe not the dragonfly. That's exactly how I was feeling about that. Definitely one of the more creative spring collections. Kristen N said that. Really loving this switch up and excited to see what's next. Archer and Olive always plays around and does some really cool stuff, right? We know that they do. We know that they like to have fun. They like to experiment. I love to see that in the sub boxes personally. But it will definitely be interesting to see what the rest of the crew feels like when we see everything else that's going to happen. All right, so let's go into the accessories next. Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so all of the sizes, we saw this, we saw these. So accessories, collagraphs, and acrylograph pens. So we see so many of these, every collection for quite some time. We've included the acrylographs. The acrylographs are the paint pens that they have. So you shake them up really well and you use them. Very opaque. I have a whole collection of them. I try to bring them in when I can. I know a lot of people are in the same exact space with me where like we get them because we love the colors, but then we don't use them as much. And then we also have the collagraphs. And so the collagraphs, if you're unfamiliar, are the double-ended brush pens. One side has a really nice thick brush on it, similar to like a Tombow would, and then the other side is a much thinner one, like a very thin brush pen. So I, definitely appreciate them. They are putting the colors on here. So 10 new colors that'll be as a part of this. You have a pale peach, a lotus pink, spring bud, froggy pond, a soft chartreuse, swan pink, frog green, seagrass, swoop, blue, and stormy key. Do they show them? Yeah, there you go. Swatched. I feel like you have to see them to like really know, because a lot of those colors sound the same to me. But again, seeing them actually done makes a really big difference. So here's all the acrylographs here. We can zoom in a little bit and take a closer look at all of them. They all look like they work really well on all the different colored papers, which is always great. I always tend to look at the black paper because I honestly feel like that's where the acrylographs shine the most because they are paint pens, because they are opaque. When you shake them up well enough, you can't see through them. They look really good. Some of these are a bit pale for me personally on the white paper, but again, I'm in a specialty zone because I'm color deficient. So, certain colors just look the same, or when it comes to even just, contrast on paper and stuff like that, I have a little bit of a harder time seeing them. But I personally wouldn't use a lot of these colors anyway. Maybe some of these darker ones on the darker end spectrum, just personally, that's my aesthetic. But you got a lot of colors there, that's for damn sure. And then here's all of the Coleograph pens. They always look good. So this is more of that Tombow brush pen end that you get here. You get the colors on the tops, and all of that looks pretty good as well. Just popping back over to the chat real quick to see what everyone else is saying here. You saw the Joyful Soldier and swatch the markers. The colors are nice, but we'll see. All right, I'm going to come back into this and keep going through is what we got. We're also restocking the Winterscapes and Attic Treasures Coleograph set. Interesting. I know Attic Treasures was a big one, and I'm guessing Winterscapes are as well. So you'll get all of the colors from those past sets. Additionally, we're adding our new Duograph pens to the website in Jewel color palette. Duographs. Oh, are these the chiseled end ones that they had in the subscription box? First seen, there you go, in the June 2024 subscription box. Duographs, that's a new word I'm going to have to learn. Water-based ink, 2 new nib sizes, a 0.4 millimeter fine tip, and a 3 millimeter chisel tip. Perfect for highlighting, annotating, coloring, and more. So I haven't used these a lot, but I was definitely a fan of them from the subscription box. So you'll get these in Jewel. More than likely, if these continue to be a hit, we'll get them in all the other collections, and we'll start seeing these more and more. I know that I definitely like the smaller tip, the 0.5 millimeter tip. I think looks really nice. I do think the chisel tip is a bit iffy. I feel like, yeah, it is really great for highlighting, kind of calling things out. I don't use chisel tips a lot for other things. So you think about pens like highlighters or pens like mild liners, for instance. Like, how often are you using that chisel tip? Maybe you're using it more than I am. I don't know. But I do definitely enjoy the Jewel colors. Those have always been some of my favorites, especially like the indigo and the mustard and olives. I tend to lean more into these spaces personally, and just again for me. But if you're into those, or you didn't get those with a part of your subscription box, that's pretty cool. All right, let me go ahead and back over into the chat. I just want to make sure I'm kind of hitting both things. This is when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see what the chat is saying. I probably should have had like my iPad or something over here to try to grab those as we're going through and see what everyone is saying. Anika said the gold foil on the yellow ochre is a missed opportunity. It blends too much. A green foil would have been amazing. I'm liking where you're going with that. It would have been cool. I've got so many Tombows. I need to resist picking up packs of Coleographs. I think we're all in that same exact kind of space there. Ellie's loving the colors. They're so pretty, but I'm super bad at using them. I agree with you. Right there with you. It's just one of those things when you're looking, you're just like, do I need them? Do I want them? Do I have to have them? We'll see. Ellie said that she does. Ellie does use the duographs and loves that small nib, so that's awesome. Chisel chips are good for calligraphy. Oh, I've never thought about that before. I'm definitely liking that. So awesome. All right, so let's head back over. Hopefully, we're not getting too much of a gap when I'm sharing that screen as we go between them. Let's go and check out what else is in this collection. All right, we know that we're going to have washi tapes, right? We can't have Archer and Olive releases without washi tapes. So we are going to get Swallows. So that's going to be inspired by that notebook. Foliage, Soaring Swallows, Bird Nest, Dreamy Skies. We're also going to get the Gentle Breeze. I like that one, the notebook itself, the most. Wildflowers, Natural Reeds, Lily Pads, Dragonflies. And so these will be the first two here. So let's just zoom in just a little bit. So the swallow ones here, so you've got like your vines, you've kind of got your, I don't know, like taking over vines, and then you have two with the birds. This feels very chaotic to me. I'm also like a iffy washi tape person, but like this one feels so chaotic, like Attack of the Birds. And then this one's kind of cute, just them kind of going across the page. Personally, not a fan of the aesthetic of this collection for me. I just like to caveat that because that's just me. But I'm also like very funny about washi tapes. This is the other one with the Swamp Pond. Oh no, not Swamp Pond. Gentle Breeze. I'm sorry. So you have like the storks or whatever they might be called in there, the dragonflies and some of the flowers. I think the flowers are pretty, but again, not for me. And then the other two will be Swan Pond and Mushroom Monarch. So this is the Swan Pond. So you have that gold weeping willow branches, I'm going to call them on here. You've got the swan and this thin one going across. This is very pretty. Look at that. And then the lilies on here. So all very floral. This is definitely the winner in my mind. The frog is so fun. Look at this guy. Look at this little frog with his little mushroom hat on. That is so cute. So you've got a line of frogs, you've got the sprinkled mushrooms, you've got the frogs and the mushrooms and the butterflies and all the things. And then this like very cool, like Aztec looking thin washi tape there with the frogs on it. That's fun. Sticker sets, always going to have a sticker set. So you've got the swallow one here. So just a really nice big, that's really pretty too. That would be really nice for like a monthly overview page. You've got all of the swamp ones here. Is it only those two? Oh, I was going to say you can't not have these cool little stickers here. All right, then you've got your swans over here with all of that. I'm just immediately gravitating towards the monarch, the mushroom monarch one. This is just so fun. This looks so cool. It's definitely my favorite of the collection so far. All right. Oh, stamp sets. I get excited about these. This is where I lose all my money. So we have two new stamp sets to decorate the pages. So over here we have a mix. It looks like a Beneath the Willow stamp set is what this one's called. So it's a mix. It looks like of the swallows and the swan swamp is what I'm going to call it. I think they called it too. So those weeping willows, loving this banner looking here. A lot of these details. I like these stamp sets though. Like I wouldn't necessarily go from the notebooks or the washi or the stickers, but like this is really nice. There's some cool elements you could certainly add to your page. And I'm 1 bazillion% getting the Mushroom Monarch set. Look at this. You've got your frogs, you've got your cool little like terrariums, the mush, all of this. All of this is an instant yes for me. 100%. And then they're going to show some examples of the stickers and the stamps being used together and some of your colors in here. All right, real quick. Gonna come back over. I'm not seeing the chat. So, oh no, blank screen. Y'all didn't see any of that. Oh, I hate when that happens. All right, let me crap. I hate when that happens. Darn it. See, this is why sometimes editing video and doing that just not working out. The black collection. Oh my goodness, everybody. I'm so sorry. I hate when that happens. I do need to figure out how to do this better. Let me try it again real quick. What was I even talking about? I'm guessing it was all. Did I talk about the washi tapes? Pens. Sorry, I'm going black through. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. You got to hear my description of it, though. Let's try it again. Share. All right. All right. I'm sharing my screen now. I'm going to come back to the chat, though, to make sure that you all can see this. So if you can let me know in the chat, I need a stream deck. I know that I need a lot of things. I asked for a stream deck for Christmas and no one bought me one. All right, can you all let me know in the chat if you guys can see the washi tapes now? They sounded great. Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, everyone can see this now. All right, so I'm not gonna. You already heard me talk about them, but if you didn't, here's all the washi tapes. Here's the swallows. I was talking about the crazy bird nest. That's what that reminds me of. Like I'm being attacked by birds. This was the gentle breeze. It has pretty stuff on it. The swan pond is pretty, and then the mushroom monarch is my favorite thing in the entire world. Stickers, same thing. You can see the stickers. You heard my description of everything. I feel like an idiot. But the mushroom monarch again, favorite as we go through. And then the stamps. This is all the stuff with the stamps. I will talk about this because I love it so much. But again, if you're not a fan of stamping or you haven't tried it yet or you're not quite sure, these are really great stamp sets to get. I don't trust the ink personally, but you're going to get an ink and you're going to get the acrylic block no matter what. I'm glad that they provide it to you, but like I always opt for like VersaFine ink instead. So that's just me personally. And then this one I will definitely be getting because of all the very cool things that are on here. So a lot of neat stuff. And there were all the examples. And then I'm just going to keep going because I'm not going to switch back and forth because that's been my problem in the past. All right. A pastel notepad, A5 pastel notepad. I feel like we've seen these before, but if you haven't and you're like new to Archer and Olive, then you're like, oh my gosh, a rainbow notepad. I must have it. Basically, I love the notepads. Don't get me wrong. I notepads are some of my favorite. I personally like paper, but essentially it's a huge stack of paper with like a number of the different colors as you go through. I know some people who will open this up because you can unscrew these screws here and then they'll like reorder them however they want to use them, which is pretty neat. But it is pretty cool for ideas. You can rip out the pages, you can use them in your journal, you can use it by yourself if you want to, kind of whatever you need. The printable planner tabs, I don't know people using these personally, so I don't know if they're great or not, but it is what it is. And then they also are talking about their monthly kit club. I just saw a advertisement for this as well. A lot of plant stuff, which I get very excited about because I do love my plants. But you get like papers and stickers. Their kit club, yeah, it's themed, so you get all the things inside of here that you would need to like make that theme. So I guess you would do that for March, right? Because you're getting it now in February, so you would get it and do your theme for March. So all kinds of fun stuff inside of there. All right, so I will stop sharing. I am so sorry, everyone. Thanks for hanging out and like listening to me talk to a blank screen. I feel really bad about that. All right, so let's go ahead and go back through after I make it through all of the black collection from Archer and Olive. They all sounded great. I'm glad I did a good job of explaining them to you all. At least you hung out for that. All right, here we go. We can see everything in there. We're loving the mushroom. The collection is fire. I completely agree with you. Loving that you can layer the wisteria for the swan stamp. I'm guessing, is wisteria the hanging plant? Is that what is like the hanging tree? I'm calling it like a weeping willow. But you know, is it wisteria? Maybe that's the better name for it. Y'all know better than I do. Yeah, sorry things were lagging. You know, it's just I can't figure it out. Ellie, I'm with you. Scared of your colored paper. I agree with you. I think it's really nice. Personally, I think it's cool, but I'm the same way. Like, how do I include that in my notebook? I think the most I've been able to do is I got one of those Sizzix things. And I was like addicted to it for a while. But like the cutter deal, die cut, that's the right word that I'm looking for. And I feel like you could maybe cut things out with the colored paper and then paste it into your notebook that way. Otherwise, like I'm not a big fan personally of like ripping paper and putting it into my notebook. That's just me though. I know some people do a really good job with that. It's just not it for me. So there we go. All right, we've got people who see the screen kind of lagging. Sorry about that. I do need a stream deck, and hopefully everything else sounded really good. You were excited. You have to watch it back. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Always enjoy the hangout sessions, even as podcast style. You know, I do a much better job with the podcast because I can just talk all day long. It's the showing of the things that's problematic for me. So it is what it is. Wisteria is the purple flower curtain. Okay, so we'll call that wisteria. Weeping Willow is what I always think of, but you're probably right, it's wisteria. So a lot of really cool stuff in that collection. Like I said, I personally am very much leaning towards the Frog Monarch, whatever we were calling that collection there. Like that is the one I'll definitely be buying. I'll most certainly be buying both of the stamp sets as well. I think that they're really nice. At this point, I have all of the stamp sets from Archer and Olive, so I feel like I have to continue to collect them over time when they make sense. You know, I guess there are some that maybe I'm not going to love, and I just don't buy them. I think that's probably one thing a lot of people, and I know how you all are probably very much like I am with certain brands. Archer and Olive is that brand for me, obviously, because I'm talking about it, where they release things and you just feel like you have to have it. But what I'm noticing, and this has been a lot of like mental maturity here for me from a stationary perspective, is that I don't always need everything, right? Like I have a lot of notebooks, I have a lot of stamps and stickers and stuff like that. But when I really like something, and in my mind, I can already envision myself using it. At this point in my life with my stationary hoarding collection, that's when I've been buying things. So I think that it's just like, part of my brain essentially is like, oh, you really want this. But now I'm like, okay, what would I use that for? How would I use that? Or, in the case of that notebook, like, I don't know that I would necessarily use the notebook for myself, but I know someone who would like that, so that, I get to buy it, but then gift it and make someone else happy. Like, that's kind of how I feel about it. Emily said, I wish the stamps would come without the ink and the blocks. Now, I 100% agree with you, Emily. I feel like I'm two ways about it, right? One part of me is, if you've never stamped before in your life, it's nice to get a full kit of things so you can really get your box and you immediately have your acrylic block and your stamps and you can use it running your notebook. I love that. But as a person who does stamp and already has a lot of their stuff, every single video I do, I talk about it. I have 6 or 7 ink pads now. And I don't even love the ink pads. I've said that before, out loud. Like, I think they're a little too juicy personally for me. And then the acrylic blocks, I think there does come a point when you can have too many acrylic blocks. There are times when it's nice to have multiple. When I did my setup for this year and I had to set up like different days of the week and I was kind of using them as templates, it was nice to be able to kind of have them already set up. So having 3 or 4 out with stamps on them as I was doing that was helpful. It's like a printing press in here. But when you're not, you're just using one, they're there. So I've been trying to find alternative ways to store them because I don't need them all out all the time. Or in some cases, I've been giving them away to people. If I'm like, oh, you should try stamping. Here's an ink block, here's ink and a acrylic block for you. Like, you take that. But I'm going to keep my stamps. You can use them however you want. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So I agree with you completely. It's just, trying to figure that out. Kim says the same thing. It would be nice to buy the stamps with or without the ink block. Completely agree with you. I think that would be a nice alternative, but I'm sure they are just like, that's too much. Because then I'm sure they package it together elsewhere, maybe wherever they put it together. So it's probably easier just to put everything in a kit versus having to have inventory of just the stamps and then have inventory of the box with the acrylic and all of that. But they've done it before. Like, maybe they could just package it differently where, like, back in the day, the stamps just came like a cardboard sleeve, and then maybe they could package the ink and the acrylic block together. So when you order them, you can order the combo and they just give you both maybe. Plan Create Cope says the ink's not that bad, but it is juicy. Yeah, I just personally, I just can't do it. So that's me. That's just me. But other people might like it. They like it as well. Ellie, I agree. I don't even buy a lot of the stamp sets, and now I have 4 blocks from the sub boxes, a single stamp set that I bought. So there's a lot out there. That's for darn sure. There's definitely a lot of product out there. It's almost like, I don't want to call it waste, but there is just a certain point though where you have so much of it that you're not using it. So, like some of the chat saying, they're giving it away to other people in the community, which I think is a great way to do it. It's the same thing that I do with the subscription box items that I don't like. I just give them the other people. Like, I love the excitement of them. I love the cool things that we find in there. I love that we get to have things first before anybody else does. That's why I will likely never cancel my subscription. And I'm excited to see what's coming up. We're almost at, was it March? I think is the next one, right? December, or I think March is the next subscription box. So we should be hearing about that. I would assume by the end of February, which we're basically there now. I actually thought we were going to get the spring collection after the sub box came out. Someone was asking me the other day in chat what I thought was going to happen. And I said, oh, I think that they'll announce spring after they announce the sub box, but it happened the other way. So we're getting spring today. And then I'm sure the sub box will come with just a little bit. Emily, the sub box. Oh wait, I already said that one. Dry time, way too long for me. It smears almost every time. I think you're talking about the stamp ink. That's where I've been having an issue. I think when stamp ink is too juicy, it takes a long time. It's the same thing with you, right? With a fountain pen or ink. If it puts out a lot of ink, you need extra time for it to dry. And I just wasn't a fan. I personally love VersaFine ink. It's been my favorite. It's archival, it's waterproof. You can kind of do everything with it. That's been my go-to, and I just like the way it works. But again, you try it out though and see what happens. Um, if I tried a different ink pad, maybe it would be less messy. I just can't seem to get the hang of it without having a disaster. That's Kim talking about the stamps. Kim, I will tell you, stamping is its own beast. I love it, but it can get a little bit messy, even when you have been doing it for a long time. Like, it's ink, there's a lot of materials. I always accidentally drop my stamp, like I'll ink it and like go to put it on something and like it falls out of my hand, like lands on the page. And if you don't have this already, this is like my favorite thing. It's from Tombow. It is their sand eraser. Let me just tell you that this is a lifesaver when it comes to erasing ink, whether it's a pen or stamp ink. It has some grit to it. It does, like, you know, it's essentially sandpaper in an eraser. But like, if you make those little mistakes though, it is really, really great. I use this all the time whenever I make mistakes and just erase it. It's great. So it is. Do you salute? What's up? What's going on? I donate extra items that I don't use to the local library or art store. I love that idea. That's really smart too. I wish that there was like an art center around here I could donate stuff to, or like a kids center or something. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Maybe like a daycare. They'd be like, yeah, Mark, thanks for giving me all of here. Here's another ink pad I just found the other day. Haven't used, haven't even opened. Just sits over here. All right. So the chat overall, it seems like we're all feeling the Mushroom Monarch collection. So that's exciting because I definitely think it's the strongest personally of all the different designs. And even as like a whole kit theme, I think it's the strongest. The notebook looks really cool. The washi tape is super fun. The stickers are super fun. The stamps are amazingly fun. The other one, though, I would say would definitely be like that, what's it called? The Gentle Breeze or whatever, that just has kind of just like the little gold print on that. What was it called? Ochre, yellow ochre, I think was the color of it. I call it brown. Like, it looks brown to me, or like green. Yeah. Again, color deficient. These eyeballs don't see colors great. But like, that one was nice. The other ones, again, that Swan Swamp one, just like, not feeling it personally for me. It's a lot going on there, but we'll see where it is. So loving it. All right. So let me know in the chat, everybody. And if you're on the rewatch crew, I'd love to hear from you in the comments too, what your favorite part of this spring collection was. It looks like the froggy mushrooms are definitely winning. The froggos, like, we're all very much feeling that, which I think is super fun and super awesome and playful and a little bit different, but not such a departure from like what Archer and Olive has done in the past. Definitely more of an illustrative collection, I would say, right? Over top of like patterns and icons and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm going there. We got the froggy mushroom is amazing. Like, we love it. So it's awesome. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up, guys. Thanks for struggling along with me today. I'm so sorry about the blackout screen during like the most fun part of it as we were going through that. I'm glad I did an okay job of describing it, and I appreciate you for even hanging on and listening to me instead of seeing that. So thank you very much. It's always an adventure here on mine. If you're looking for a professional live stream, this is not it. Eventually, maybe I'll get there. Maybe I need to try some of these other products. And StreamYard is something that some people use. I feel like I'm doing these a lot more, so like I have to maybe get more familiar with this. And see what happens. But as these go on sale today, in just a little bit, about an hour from now, a little hour and 10 minutes from now, be sure to check them out. I'll mention that I do have a discount code with them. So mark your pages 10. That'll save you 10% off if you're purchasing anything from this collection. So save that extra money, buy a bunch of stuff, save the money, buy more stuff. That's just always what happens, it just always happens that way. And some really great ideas in the chat. And I can't wait to read more inside the comments too. I'm so grateful that you all hang out during these when I do them. I don't expect anything like a large, super amazing audience there to be able to you know, I don't know, an audience size to like talk through stuff, but I'll keep making these better. We'll see such an improvement over time. It'll work out. Someone asked if I have a link if you use other codes. I do have a link. I'll put it in the descriptions of this video for you, Emily, if you're interested. I don't know how that works. A referral link versus if you use other people's codes. Oh, sub box code. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay. So you want a link to the thing to support, but you're going to use your sub box code to get the percentage off, because I believe that one's 15% off. So good choice there. I'll still put the link for you in this down in the descriptions below. So hopefully you can use that one. If not, totally cool. Save the extra money. I would rather you save the extra money than worry about like using my discount code. Save that money. We're good there. Everyone, thanks so much for hanging out. I'm glad that you caught one with me, and hopefully we'll catch another one. I am working on a video, by the way, not to like go on a bit of a tangent, but to talk about what's happening next for Ugmonk. I've been a big fan of these for quite some time, and they have a more affordable version that they're coming out with later on today. It's made out of metal instead of wood, so it brought down the price point. So I'm working on a video for that now, so I'll have that out later on today, and excited for y'all to check that one out. But before we get into that, Archer and Olive spring collection today in an hour. So make sure you're on there and having a good time. And thanks for hanging out, everyone. I'll talk to y'all later on. Thanks for joining me today for this unprofessional. I'll get it. I'll stop being down on myself. Mark, you're going to do better on these in the future. I promise. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you.